Welcome to Wanderlust and Wishes, the podcast where we explore the world one destination at a time.
I'm Julie.
And I'm Crystal.
As travel agents with fantastical vacations, we are here to share our passion for travel and help you turn your wanderlust into reality.
From hidden gems to bucket list adventures, join us as we dive into the sights, sounds, and stories of our favorite destinations.
So grab your passport, pack your bags, and let's embark on this journey together. Hi, everybody. Welcome to episode 52 of Wanderlust and Wishes. Today, we're going to do something fun. We're going to go through and rank the Walt Disney World resorts. However, it's going to be with a little bit of a twist. We're going to be throwing out 10 resorts at each other at random and doing this like the TikTok trend where you have to pick a number as it comes out. I'm a little stressed, but it's going to be okay. It's going to be fun. But first, we have some news we want to talk through.
Of course, it all came out after we recorded last week. Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party dates have been announced. And by the time you hear this, they will be on sale. Pricing ranges from $119 to $220 per person. This is an extra ticket at the Magic Kingdom that begins usually about 7 p.m. and runs through midnight, but you can usually get in about 4 or 5 earlier in the day. So we have 7 dates in August, 14 in September, and 17 in October, including Halloween. Halloween's usually always the first to sell out, and then usually the first day, which is August 15th. So if this is something you'd like to do, let us know. We'd love to help you with it.
Yeah, and I will even say, even as an agent, I sat on this too long last year, and the ticket sold out. We talk about all the time that we're our own worst agents. Don't be like me. Don't wait. If you really want to go, you need to buy them sooner than later because they will sell out. Next, some Universal Orlando news. They have released their 2026 dates, which means that now you can purchase a vacation package or tickets for 2026, which is fantastic. As you all know, at this point, Epic Universe is officially opening on May 22nd, but it has been in a preview period. We talked about, I think last week, we talked about that it's has been using a virtual queue for the Battle at the Ministry, and it has not gone super well, or there's been some just kind of hiccups. However, they stopped using it when they reopened it this past week. And on Saturday, the wait was 300 minutes.
Yikes.
So that's what happens when you have a super popular ride and you don't have something to somewhat control the crowd levels and wait times. I know that virtual queues are a pain, and you sometimes feel like it's like the Hunger Games trying to get in there, trying to get in the virtual queue. But this is the reason why a lot of places do this, because otherwise the standby wait queue gets absolutely out of control.
And as much as we dog on Disney IT, they've kind of figured out the virtual queue. So Epic, Universal, figure it out.
They'll get it. They'll figure it out. But for right now, it's going to be just be prepared to wait.
And just as a reminder for all your 2026 Universal, it is $50 a deposit per person. So get those dates locked in now. The prices we know are going to soar after Epic opens tomorrow. So as demand rises, prices rise. So let's lock it in now, especially like those spring break, Thanksgiving, Christmas break. Those ones are always the most expensive and hardest. So let's do it. Lots of news from Royal Caribbean Cruise Line. Perfect Day Mexico. So this is basically what they're going to do, what worked at Coco Cay, and expand and go bigger, like the longest lazy river in the world, which is something people have been begging for. It will be like a 45 to 60-minute journey. Can you imagine?
That's a long time. You're in it for the long run if you get on one of the tubes.
But I love that it has multiple stops along the way where you can tie off your little tube and raft like at the bar and take a break. Like they've thought of everything, I'm sure.
The next thing that they have announced, and we've talked about this a little bit before, but they gave a little bit more details on the island in the Bahamas. They have it's called the Royal Beach Club at Paradise Island. It's going to be located in Nassau. It is scheduled to open in December of 2025. It's going to be an all-inclusive beach club. So you will have to pay to have access to it, but it's going to be like a super short excursion to cater to exactly what everybody loves about a beach club environment. And it is going to focus on local authenticity and upscale amenities.
Nassau needs this so bad.
Yeah. Yeah. This is going to be really nice for sure.
I'm curious if you were there on a Disney cruise, if you could still pay and go see it, like some of the all-inclusive resorts will let you get a day pass.
I was thinking the same thing. I'm wondering if you're there for any other cruise line, or just in the Bahamas for some reason, if you can get a pass. That would be the smart thing for them to do.
I was going to say that would be the very smart thing for there are half a dozen ships or more in that port every single day. So the other one, Leilapa, is slated to open early 2027. This is located in Vanuatu, part of the Malaysian Islands, and is positioned northeast of Australia. Specifically, it lies east of Australia and west of Fiji. So this little area consists of over 80 islands. So Royal Caribbean's going to kind of have its own little destination. They've basically essentially leased the entire north part of the island. It will be a tender port, no pier, and then it's just going to be like a chill, gorgeous something out of North America. So it'll be similar to like Labadee in Haiti that they have. So this will bring Royal Caribbean's destinations, beach clubs, to 6 of their own stops, essentially.
Yeah, this is going to be kind of the opposite of what you think of like with the perfect day kind of vibe. It's completely opposite. Instead of it being just like something to do like constantly, like have all this energy and all of that, it's going to be the opposite. Like Crystal said, it's going to be a more chill vibe because not
I'm so
everybody wants
excited.
to do a water park on their vacation.
Well, and with all these new ships, they need all these more locations. So good for them.
Okay.
All right. Do you want to go first? Or do
I'm
you want me to
scared.
go first?
Yeah, I'll go first. I'm scared though.
Okay. So we're blind ranking. I'm going to give Julie 10 different resorts, and she's got to plug them in 1 through 10. Do you want to keep track of where you're plugging them on a list?
Yeah, I'll write them down as you go.
Okay. Here we go. This is funny because I can see them and she cannot.
Yeah, and I'm like I'm so bad at stuff like this, so this is going to be interesting.
All right. First up, Disney's Art of Animation Resort.
Hmm. I probably would put that at an 8. And really just because I think it's great because it's on the Skyliner, but I would much rather go to if I'm going to go to a value resort that's on the Skyliner, I'd much rather go to Pop Century because Pop Century has that because their standard room is a little bit farther away from the dining and transportation and stuff like that. It has fantastic theming though. So,
Disney's Animal Kingdom Lodge.
ooh, hmm, that's a really hard one. I think I might put that one at 5, where it's kind of in the middle. I think because it's a deluxe resort, it's beautiful and it has the animals and it has this fantastic vibe with lots of culture, but it also only has bus transportation and it's farther away from everything, so it's not as convenient. So yeah, I think I'll just kind of put it in the middle.
Next, Disney's Wilderness Lodge.
Ooh.
I did not put these. They picked them for me. This is a randomizer.
Oh my gosh. No, this is going to be hard because depending on what comes next, I would either put it as a 1 or ooh. Okay. I'm going to risk it and I'm going to say 2.
Okay. Or do you have a reasoning or do you want me just to go on?
Well, I think if whoever, if anybody's ever actually, if anybody's listened to this podcast, they know that it's in my like top 2 because I love the vibe. I love the feeling that it's not in the middle of the chaos, but it's also very close to the
Mhm.
chaos.
All right. Number 4, Caribbean Beach Resort.
I'm going to put that at number 4. because it's a moderate resort, so the pricing is pretty good. And usually whenever there's a promotion, it's even better. And it has definitely probably top three, 3 to 4 of the like pools on property, and it's on the Skyliner.
All right.
Yeah.
Next, Disney's Yacht Club Resort.
I'm gonna put that at number. Dang, I'm afraid I'm like backing myself into a corner here. I can't spell. Sorry, guys. I'm writing these down so I can keep up with what I'm doing. I'm gonna put it at number 3 because it definitely has the best pool on property there. You can walk to Epcot. It's in that just like Epcot resort area. I love the theming. Just in general, like it's definitely going to be in my top 5, period, like across the board.
All right, we're halfway. What numbers do you have left?
I have 1, 6, 7, 9, and 10.
Ooh.
I know.
All right. Next on my list is Disney's Beach Club Resort.
Oh, no. No. Okay. Well, I guess I'm going to put that at number 6 because that's the next. I can't. I'm holding out. I'm afraid I'm gonna mess myself up here, but we'll see. Hopefully, I'm gonna put that at number 6. It is basically the sister resort to the yacht club, so for the very same reasons. But I like the vibe at yacht club better. I like the nautical theming and everything better than I like at beach club. So either way, I would always put yacht club above beach club for that reason.
Next is Disney's Saratoga Springs Resort.
I'm gonna put that at number 9. I think this resort is very pretty and it is a deluxe resort and they have like lots of fantastic options. They're right next to Disney Springs. However, it's not really very convenient to the parks. And that's generally going to be for me, I would rather be convenient at a place that's more convenient to the parks.
Next, Fort Wilderness Resort. This includes cabins and campgrounds. If you can't tell, we're lumping everything like villas are the same. So, Fort Wilderness as a whole. What do you have left? 1 and 10?
1, 7, and 10. I'm just struggling with whether I put it in 7 or 10 because if I get another one, one in particular that I definitely don't want to rank above it. But all right. I'm sorry, Fort Wilderness. I'm going to go with 10. It's not, I think this one is more just because it is a little bit farther as far as I think that the transportation actually within the resort is a little bit, it's by bus and you have to take a bus for most of the resorts. I'm sorry, for most of the parks, you have to take a bus from there and like sometimes multiple bus stops to get to the bus that to then get to a bus to actually get to the other parks. So I think for that reason, I'm going to put that as 10.
All right. Next, Disney's Contemporary Resort.
Well, I don't know that I feel like it's definitely not. See, I've messed myself up here now because I have 1 left, or I have 1 and 7 left. And contemporary is definitely for me, like would never be above wilderness, yacht, like any of those. But then I don't know what's coming last. Ugh. All right. This is torturous. I'm going to put it at 7 if I'm thinking of like, it's not above the others. So I might have just completely backed myself into a corner. I swear if I get like movies or something, I'm going to be so mad.
Well, your last one is Disney's Pop Century Resort.
You know what? That is better than I thought it was going to be. Definitely like for realsies, not my number 1 pick, but
It could have been worse.
yeah, I probably would have switched it if I had known. Like I would have reordered them or I would have switched it with a couple others, but it's yeah. I mean I was saying earlier that Pop Century is not going to be where I stay. Not going to be my top pick for where I stay. Like obviously with not playing this game, but it has so many benefits from like the pricing for the price and being on the Skyliner and having the option like the preferred room where it's close to everything. It's a great option.
So what did your list end up looking like?
Okay. My number 1 is Pop Century. Number 2 is Wilderness Lodge. Number 3 is Yacht Club. Number 4, Caribbean Beach. Number 5, Animal Kingdom Lodge. Number 6, Beach Club. Number 7, Contemporary. Number 8, Art of Animation. Number 9, Saratoga Springs. And number 10, Fort Wilderness Lodge. So actually, other than because Pop Century just came in last, was the last option, like pretty much everything else is very much aligned. I mean, I feel like that's a really good where I had everything situated is probably a pretty good reflection of how I would rank them. There's a couple that I might switch around, but for the most part, other than being Pop Century being number 1, I actually didn't do too bad.
All right, hit me. I'm scared.
Okay. All right. Starting with Port Orleans Riverside.
8.
Are you putting yours down? Are you
Yeah,
keeping
I'll,
Okay.
I'll keep track of
Okay.
mine.
Okay.
It's bus transportation. The Port Orleans, I like that they're small, but there's so many better options.
Second is Fort Wilderness Lodge, which includes the campgrounds and the cabins.
10.
Okay.
I'm not camping on vacation unless I'm at like a national park or I'm like off fishing, but not when I'm going to the parks and I'm going to be sweating to death and don't have a shower.
Cabins aren't too bad though.
I know, and I'm sure eventually we'll do the cabins, but I
Yeah,
need to rent a golf
because
cart.
they have room. That's I think it's a pretty good price for all of your family since you have a 5.
I know, and I have debated that. So, but 10 for now because there's
You're like, I'm not camping on vacation.
there's more to come on this list.
Okay. Old Key West.
Let's go 7. I do appreciate that they have like bigger spaces, like their 2 and 3 bedroom
Yeah.
are like massive,
Yeah.
especially for the price. But yeah,
They were
bus
the
transportation.
they were the first DVC resort. And
Uh-huh.
so that's why their rooms are humongous. Saratoga Springs.
6. And this is how I would rank them in real life. Saratoga, I'm going to put over Old Key West
Okay.
because I like horses.
It is cute that they have all the horses in the lobby. And that is super cute. Okay. Next, we have some overlap here. Next is Caribbean Beach.
Confusing around. Let's go 4. I like they do have 5 sleepers and they are on the Skyliner. It is kind of a like spread out resort, but we really enjoyed our time there and we would go back.
Yeah. I really actually, when I stayed there with Danny, I liked it much more than I thought I was going to, you know,
Uh,
even though I could see,
The Riviera.
Riviera across the way. I thought the the room and the space and just the grounds and everything were really nice. Okay. Next, you have Pop Century.
Let's put him number 3. I like the Skyliner. It's a fun resort. We've stayed there and liked it, but now we can't fit. But if it was like of all the values, if it's only like me and John, we're picking Pop.
Yeah. It would be nice if they were able to redo those rooms again and add a little drop down. I don't know. They may not have room to, but that might be difficult for them to add.
They have that whole space that's like a dresser that's the same as over at Caribbean Beach that they could take out and put the 5th sleeper.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, next on the list is Animal Kingdom Lodge.
I just stayed here and it was lovely, but it is a hike to get there. I'm going to put it at 5. And even when you're there, our room was like still another 3/4 of a mile from the bus or longer.
Really?
Yeah, we were at the end of one of those things. It was nice that we had a resort view and we could still see animals, but I kept thinking, this is just me, and I don't have children with me. If this was like with children after a long day at the parks, I couldn't even imagine.
It's probably not quite as spread out as Saratoga Springs, but it's probably one of the larger of the deluxe resorts.
Yeah, and then there's the whole confusion of are you getting off at Jumbo or Kidani?
Yeah.
And we did that once and had to get back on the bus, and
Uh-oh.
it's just, yeah.
That's true. I didn't think about that. Okay, next on the list is Beach Club.
I'm gonna put this at number one, just so I don't back myself into a corner. I do love Beach Club. Stayed here, loved it, loved the pool, loved the vibe. Like in my real life list, it's probably in my top three. So
What do you have? What do you have left?
2 and 9. Oh, I have 2 all-stars coming.
No, you don't, actually.
Oh, okay.
But I do think it's going to be.
Or 2 good ones.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know what you think about these. Well, I do know what you think about one of them. Okay, contemporary.
Of all my deluxes, this is my least favorite, besides the boardwalk. Oh,
I really want to give you a hint. I'm so bad at these games.
I'm putting it at 9. Like, yes, the walking path to Magic Kingdom is great, but I just can't get on board with it. I don't
Yeah, I'm just not like with the vibe of it is just not my vibe.
know. And I just spent a lot of time here. Although I didn't go in like Bay Lake. Maybe if it was like maybe if I was staying in a Bay Lake Tower Magic Kingdom view, I might change my mind. But
Those are like $3,000 a night or something crazy.
I know. So that's what I'm saying. Unless I'm like it's getting paid
Yeah,
for me.
right. Okay, you ready? Drum roll. The
Yeah.
last one. Polynesian.
Yes. Going to. Although in real life I would probably put Polly as my first and Beach Club 2 or 3, but I feel very happy about this list.
Whenever you were like going back and forth on contemporary, I wanted to be like, go with your heart. 'Cause I knew you were struggling. I'm like, you're gonna make the right decision. Oh, that's so funny.
So I ended up with Polly 1. No, no, scratch that. Okay, I ended up with Beach Club 1, Polly 2, Pop 3, Caribbean Beach 4, Animal Kingdom Lodge 5, Saratoga Springs 6, Old Key West 7, Port Orleans Riverside 8, Contemporary 9, and Fort Wilderness 10. And this goes very in line with my like actual like
Yeah,
I sat down and
yeah.
like did my whole list.
The one thing that I messed up on was leaving that number one spot open, and I should have just gone for it with Wilderness Lodge. Other than that, mine was pretty on point too, which is kind of weird.
I am very surprised that neither of us had any of the All-Stars or the Riviera.
I know. It is weird. Yeah. It was funny because as I was pulling yours up and the little wheel was like spinning and it would get close to like one of the all-stars, I was like, "Ooh," and then and then it would like go past it or it'd stop before it.
So nothing against the All-Stars. They're great. Like anything in the bubble is good. But
True.
they're always overrun with like all the cheer and the sport and dance teams.
Yes.
Of all of them, I would prefer music because it has the family suites. So there are less people in those buildings because it's like 2 to 1,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, and I mean it has great theming. It has I mean it's like, all the value resorts really have like over the top colorful theming, which is fantastic. But they also have only bus transportation. And as you heard, the both of us, like it doesn't matter if it's a moderate or a deluxe, we're gonna always choose something else that has better transportation over only bus.
we actually polled our travel agency in our Facebook group and we had them rank their top 5. And the summary of common themes that everybody picked, number 1 was transportation.
Yep.
Number 2, everybody cared about the atmosphere and the vibes. And then just to let you know, these are not like what people like sell the most of or what they recommend the most of. This is just their personal favorites from well-traveled Disney adults. Third on the list was food, then pools, holiday magic made a ranking, and then value and fun and nostalgia kind of rounded out. Transportation is such a big deal. And I think a lot of people, especially for the first time, they don't realize and they don't think through it, which is when I'm like quoting someone with a small family, I'm not going to give them Coronado. Like it's a great resort and it's probably in a lot of people's top 10s, but I'm just go to Caribbean Beach, go to Pop Century, go to Art of Animation, go on the monorail.
Yeah.
So transportation, you hear it from me all the time. It's such a crucial part.
Agree. And we got some like really awesome engagement on this. I'm really excited. So we have almost all of them made an appearance. I think it's pretty cool.
Yes, of Disney basically says there's 21 or 22, depending on how they classify the cabins or the campsites, whether you clump that as one or separate it out. But 17 of the 21 made an appearance.
Yeah.
The only ones that did not make an appearance were any of the All Stars and the Fort Wilderness.
Then, this is a good ranking of across all the different deluxe, moderate, and value. Oh,
Yes, so I think just about everybody picked Polynesian. So Polynesian was number one on everybody's list by a landslide. It had the most votes. Second was Wilderness Lodge, especially at Christmas. Third, the Riviera made a strong fight here. It almost beat out Wilderness Lodge. Another one was Coronado Springs. Most said Grand Destino Tower if they were going to do it.
Yeah.
Five was Beach Club. Animal Kingdom Lodge was six. A lot of people said Port Orleans French Quarter because of its like beignets for one, and then just like the small quaintness of it. The next ones were a tie for 8 and 9, which is Pop Century and Grand Floridian.
Interesting that a value other like probably the maybe number two least expensive is tied with the most expensive on top.
Right? Isn't that very interesting?
Yeah.
And that this is the only value that made the top 10. And then rounding it out at number 10 with Saratoga Springs, people said the new rooms, the proximity to Disney Springs, peaceful, and then just the consistent availability. Like you can usually count on it to have some sort of availability. So Saratoga Springs also tied with Contemporary. We did have a couple that said Bay Lake specifically, some that only said Contemporary. So depending on how you were classifying those, but the walk to Magic Kingdom, the monorail, the nostalgia, convenience were the biggest reasons there.
I think that one's interesting too because we just talked about contemporary is probably the closest to Magic Kingdom, like because of the walk, and it still didn't make the top 10.
No, it's in the middle of the list.
Yeah.
The bottom, obviously, because they didn't make the list, all three All Stars and Fort Wilderness, and then Yacht Club and Old Key West only each had a couple of votes. Art of Animation ranked lower than I expected, but I think this depends a lot on people's family size.
Yeah.
Like for me, it ranks in the top 10 easily every time because of the family suites. And I'm a family of five. It's hard to find us rooms now at Disney. So, and then Boardwalk and Port Orleans Riverside and then Caribbean Beach to kind of make it up there to the middle. So very interesting list, but I feel that there were a lot of people who commented, and this is a very good representation.
I agree. I was so excited that so many people commented. I was a little probably the one the biggest surprise for me was that Coronado Springs made the top 5.
Yes, I was very surprised to see how many of those kept rolling in.
And I think that one is probably mostly because Grand Destino Tower does have a very deluxe feel to it, but you're still paying moderate prices.
Yes, and almost everybody said that when they specified the deluxe fill or bougie on a budget, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. If I'm looking at a moderate option, I'm going to pick Caribbean Beach as my choice just because of the Skyliner. But on the flip side of that, I have never stayed at the Grand Destino Tower. So I want to throw that out there that I have not stayed there. So I can't say for sure. I'm just looking at it from a convenience factor.
You do want it's the only moderate with a club level too.
That's
So,
true. That is true. That's another thing, to add on to it being like a deluxe.
but yes, I was not surprised at all of our agents how many in this top 10 are moderates, two, and then one value, and all the rest are deluxe.
Mhm.
Once you stay at deluxe, you really get a taste for it, and it's hard to go back
It is.
unless you really have to.
It is.
There's just so many extra amenities and so much more that they offer.
And I think that even though probably one of the biggest things that took me, like, even though I know the difference, one of the things that threw me a little bit whenever I stayed at Pop Century was the size of the room.
Mm-hmm.
The size of the rooms at Riviera are considerably larger. And you also have your balcony. So it just, the space and the feel of it, from even like the bathroom space and the room space, it's just so much bigger. And, that's not necessarily important to everybody because they just want to be able to have a nice place to stay and go to the parks. But once you stay in that larger room, it is harder to go back to being in a smaller room.
So I'm curious what all of our listeners would choose. So shoot us an email or shoot us a DM with your top 5, your top 10, your 1 through 22, whatever you'd like to do. It's always so fun to see where you rank them. Like even John and I will sit in bed. We'll do these on TikTok with people all the time. And
Mhm.
we're always fighting about, no, that one's number 1 or this one's number 2 or and I think it changes as our seasons of life change, honestly.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And we should post like a story or something and have people vote on which one, if whether they liked mine or yours better.
Oh, we could do that. We could definitely do that.
This was so fun. I
I
love
love
doing stuff
this.
like this, even though I was very nervous about it. And I'm questioning my choices. I definitely should have gone with number 1 with Wilderness Lodge and just like, but I was so hopeful that Riviera would get thrown out there.
It was like number 12 on that list. So I
Ah,
was like, oh, it was like boardwalk and then the Riv.
oh my
So
gosh. Oh my gosh.
I know that was the first one. I was like, where's this? Where's the Riv?
But we hope everybody enjoyed our episode. We had a lot of fun. And have a great week, everybody. Talk to you next week. Bye. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Wanderlust and Wishes.
If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review on your favorite podcast platform.
And remember, the world is full of wonders waiting to be explored. Until next time, happy travels.
Bye for now.